also did another one that I forgot the name of it. It was sanctioned by the NXL, and they would have these pro guys come out, and they essentially had you had like, instead of touching the buzzer on the other side of the field, there were 3 buzzers in the middle of the field, and depending on what buzzer you touched, determined a certain amount of points you could get. So like shooting your opponent was 1 point, and then it's like each buzzer was an extra point. So if you like touched one buzzer and then shot your guy, you got like 4 points out of it. And it was like a race to like first to 21. And so it was really cool just seeing dudes play one-on-ones against each other. So I think if they could bring that and incorporate it into an actual NXL event, to where aside from the normal format that they play, have like a little one-on-one tournament.
It feels as if like if you're not in a position to help grow, you can't really get mad at that, because you're kind of like thinking to yourself like, okay, I don't want to like squeeze all this money out of my players, but at the same time, like, shoot, man, I gotta I'm trying to make some money here, because this is a business, and so it's really you're playing this really delicate dance. That's why I feel like, for us, we call it local game stores, right? These card shops that I've been going to since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And one of my card shops, shout outs to Four Colors. They're near car shop here, and they got broken into, and literally he has like these, like a safe for a door, right? And they like just busted his windows and just came in and stole his comics and stole like all this other stuff. Like,
we had a break in a while back at our store too.
Yeah,
they stole like, I think they stole maybe like $70,000 worth of product.
Yeah, jeez.
The crazy part about it is we got it all back. We got every single gun that they stole back.
Okay, I have to understand how.
What? So we have cameras at the store, obviously. We this particular night, for some reason, I don't remember what happened, but for some reason our alarm did not go off.
Oof.
What happened and what saved us was the pizza guy in the same parking lot was still there. No, sorry, he wasn't there, but these dumbasses, once they went into our store, they got greedy and tried to rob the pizza place. His alarm went off. He got on the cameras, told his son to call 911. And when the guys, the thieves ended up leaving and they hopped on the freeway, as soon as they hopped on the freeway, there was a cop like right there waiting for them. And what we got really lucky is because I guess what my boss told me is that the sergeant on duty that night typically does not let his officers engage in police chases, but this time he did. So he gave permission to the cop to chase after them and initiate a pursuit, and they ended up crashing before the cop kind of caught up to him. They bailed out. The guys got away, but they left everything inside the van.
Yo, listen, that's in this, and it seems like in this business, that's almost like shop ending, like 70 G.
No, $70,000 for a shop is a lot of money.
No, I mean you're like.
That's a lot of money for a shop.
That's almost a year. I mean, that's not almost a year, but like that's a good 3 months or 5 months.
It's a big chunk.
It's a big loss right
especially
there,
for a small shop.
Yeah,
a small because even though our shop is we're able to reach a really big audience.
Sure.
We get orders from across the nation, across the world. We've gotten orders from like Europe.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's the marketing game, dude.
Yeah,
marketing is gonna do if the NXL can just tweak their marketing, put some more of that. I mean, if they're charging people, they're squeezing their players $2,300. Like if you and I get it. It's a big event. You have 12 referees. You got casters. You have cameramen. You have vendors. I get it.
That's 12 referees just for the pro field.
Okay, I get it.
Right?
I get it.
I think a lot of people don't realize too is they have so much overhead. That's what it is.
I get
it's the overhead.
But if you're going to do it, you got to get the marketing. You have to get like not just the marketing of getting people there. Who cares, right? But just the social media influence. Because literally, I mean, if you can get a good shot and have that hit viral, you'll have 12, I just saw this dude just got light up. Right? Like, you're going to want to jump in and light some kids up, too. You want to be like, yo, put me in, coach. Like, you want to be in that type of environment. So I think that the NXL has some potential there because I watched 6 hours of this, right?
Yeah.
And I got to really get a big understanding of just like, yo, this is really interesting. After the first hour, after the first few games, I was like, oh, okay, this is, all right, I can watch this, right? And by watching it, for me, it just became like, it was just hard to kind of follow because
Yeah.
one of the things I notice about it too when you watch it, you're not seeing the same players continually play. You're seeing one team playing another team, and then right after you see a different team playing another team, and right after you see the same team you just saw the other time go play. They're like swapping, in there because they're trying to keep because there's so many rounds you have to play, and they're cleaning each other up. They got to get the paint off of them or whatever.
Yeah, they play in split decks.
Yeah, and so they're kind of continuing that progression. So it was really hard to be like, oh shit, oh okay, great. And obviously, if it's your first time watching, you're still trying to get a better understanding. But man. What I'm telling you guys, I know it's probably not fun as a player, but like that 1-on-1, the 2-on-2s was for me as a first time looking at this, I've never seen this in my life. Yeah. That was really cool because that was like, okay, there, and of course like you're because you can see what's happening. It's easy, and the casters now know after the fucking initial rush, and they're like, okay, so this is what's going on. But
100% like the 1-on-1s, like the low body situations are the super like exciting part,
right?
Because it's like it's those game changer moments, right? Where you're like, a 1-on-1 and this guy just snaps this dude perfectly, just clocks him right in the face, and they needed that point to tie the game, or that gives them that 1 point lead with like a minute left on the clock. It's those low body situations that are always the more exciting versus the 5-on-5, and it just kind of flows, right? Oh, they got eliminated. They touched the buzzer. Oh, they came back. Okay, now they went back and they eliminated all. It's those 1-on-1, 2-on-2s, and not just the 1-on-1, but it's the
1-on-3s and like those are really cool. The 2-on not the ones where it's like a 1-on-1 and it ends in like 30 seconds. No, they're playing it out.
Like when they play it out, it's like because that's when it gets really exciting, and it's exciting to watch, and it's exciting. And as a player, it's nerve-wracking because when you have 5-on-5, even a 4-on-4, 3-on-3, you still have 2, 3, 4 guys to look over and be like, okay, I got help. When you're in a 1-on-1, it's all on you. All eyes are now on you.
I'm telling you, like one of the things I feel like, man, it would be so cool is that interaction, seeing that interaction, seeing the players go and try to like, because you're looking down sight, you're trying to like, and then you're trying to watch because you don't really know. So then you stop, and if both of you stop, it's just quiet.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, fuck, I thought he was behind. And then you're like trying to now you're like nervous, right? And you hear, and you're like, oh shoot, what's going on? And you start chopping, and you're like, okay, wait. And you don't, and I think seeing that dynamic, right, is really, really cool. I wish, and this is, I know I don't know how you're going to feel with this, but I really, really like the way Airsoft does it. And I like the fact that they have like this building, and they're like in the building, and like you're just kind of like, and they get to, I wish paintball would, and again, the thing is that like I don't know how they do this in paintball in airsoft, but like I wish there was like a sensor that you can put like a body chest or like something but it's not possible. But it'd be really cool. So you guys can have like different terrain and do like different cool things and be able to kind of like go in a cave and like be like and just have these 2, 3 like make the battlefield a little bit more elaborate. But I like the whole kind of aspect of the way you guys had it, and it's very interesting. You can yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's really one of those things where I felt like, man, this is really, really interesting to watch, and it's a fascinating sport, and I think it really does have a lot of potential. But man, after talking to you and really getting, when we sat down the first time I had an interaction, I didn't really fully get what you meant by the cost. Yeah. But now that you're explaining it to me, like just putting it into hourly, like $20 an hour, even that person is like, fuck, dude, I gotta drop $100 to go to this.
Yeah, it adds up.
That's brutal. Yeah. And it's like, what do you do if the paint costs you that much and you have to be, and that's what you need to, I mean, literally, that's you can't just like, well, I'll just come show it with a gun, like. No, like you have to buy the paint too, and that's just like, oh. And then and one of the things I noticed is they'll just drop paint on the ground. I'm just like, I'm picking up my paint. I'm putting it back. Putting it back in the thing.
Yeah, like, that's one thing. If you ever go, I think I mentioned this last time. Like, I think SportsCenter or ESPN had a video of a dude just like he was just a pro player just holding a lane. If you just read the comments, everyone is just trashing the guy. Like, why is he wasting so much paint? What is he shooting at? He's shooting like 100 balls and he's missing like 99% of them. He look at all the paint he dropped on the ground, and it's people who just don't understand the game. No, but don't get me wrong, I see that too. Like like, especially us, being a pro player, you get the, this paint and stuff. You're not paying for it, whereas, us in the divisionals, we are paying for it. So don't get me wrong, we drop paint a lot of times, but I feel like we try to take care of just that little bit more to where we don't waste it all. I would work there
and I'd be like, hey, I'll clean up, and just start. I'll sell it on eBay, like, yo, look, put.
Like I saw a video one time that just it absolutely blew my mind.
Just vacuum it up.
I think it was from I think it was Philly, the Philly event that they had, the Mid Atlantic Major event a couple months ago. There's a video of a dude. He's like towards the center of the field. He's shooting. He reloads. He drops his gun because he's trying to find the bodies. He reloads, puts a full pot in his hopper. Comes back out. I think he shoots 4 times. Like literally 1, 2, 3, 4. Pulls out another pod and reloads again. None of the paint went in because he was still full. He literally did it real quick and then just let it go, and all the paint is still in the pot and just fell on the floor. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, you really just wasted that much paint. And it was mind-boggling because so many people in the comments were just like, what the fuck was that?
Rest in peace, paint.
Dude.
Rest in peace. For all the paint, all the paint
that's spilled.
All the paint that has never got shot. Hey, you know what? We'll remember you. It's real.
It's insane. You see it so many times. And like I said, it's the worst with the pro players because, they don't care. Like, you'll see them, like, reload and, like, they'll get, like, maybe half of it in. And you're just like, what? Like, you just spent, like, all that paint. It's so bad that we call it, when we see that happen, we call it a pro reload.
A pro reload.
You reload that bad that we say like that's a pro reload right there.
Look, you can't make this up. Yo, that's something I thought was like, man, all that, dang, that paint just fell on the ground. Like, damn, no one's gonna pick that up. Like, yeah. I just felt like, yo, there must be an aftermarket of some guy out there just trying to vacuum this stuff up. You could create a business. That's serious. You probably
recycling paint.
Yeah, like look. I'll clean the field, and you just go around and just start vacuuming and just literally. Now, who cares if it's different colors? You just shoot people, right? No, I think that's interesting. I think yeah, this was a fascinating experience, and I hope that paintball can pick it up. I really do, and I hope that I don't know, man. I really hope that they can kind of figure out what to do to make it more cost effective. Man.
It's crazy, and that's so crazy how you say like cost effective, right? You're new to the sport, obviously. Whereas me being a little, I've only really been seriously into the sport for like the past 4 years. I played in high school a little bit.
Oh yeah,
but I didn't have time for it just because soccer was such a big part then. But if you compare like price of paint back then in comparison to what it is now, it's relatively cheaper now than what it is. So it definitely has become more cost effective, but
someone needs to create an easier way to make paint. There has to be more or less like paint in general is expensive. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
Paint is expensive. They have to try it. There has to be a different like a different substance you can use that still gives you that like.
I mean, it's all biodegradable stuff, so it's like
that's not my thing. Is just like there something like watercolor or something. Like I know it sounds weird, but like because you want to make a material that feels slimy and it gets you like you can notice like okay I got hit, but you also want it to be like really like inexpensive.
Yeah.
Right.
What's crazy is earlier this year there was actually a movement by a company. So boxes of paint come in 2,000 rounds. You get 4 bags of 500 paintballs each bag, so 2,000 round box. There was actually a movement by a company earlier this year where they wanted, because of the rising cost, because paint prices have actually kind of gone up this year a little bit by like $5 relatively per box, and manufacturers are trying to cut costs, however they can. There was actually a movement where they wanted to drop the amount of paint per box to $1,600 and still charge the same amount.
Whoa.
Yeah. So but it got huge backlash. Like they were like literally everyone basically said fuck you if you do that.
Yeah, I mean you can't. You just. Yeah, I feel bad. This is a business and player issue. I think you just need more. You need more comments. You need more Yeah, you need more viewers. And if NXL can get that viewer count up, if they can find a way to get people involved and want it to be like rep their city, because you do have a city kind of rivalry thing going on.
Yeah.
Get the city involved and like have them invest in these netting, because the netting is the issue, because you can't go to the park and start shooting around. You'll knock some windows. You hit some kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's difficult. I think during COVID times
COVID's the best days. You just show no one's around. Everyone's in their house.
Yeah.
Just shoot around.
No, but like during COVID, they were trying to do a thing. It never came to fruition, but there was like, because of COVID and the travel restrictions and stuff like that, in order to keep the pro league going, they had this idea of having like regional events for like the pro teams, and then depending on how you place at those regional events, you would then play that one big event that would kind of determine your seeding. It was kind of a way to make it so not everyone, mainly because of travel. But I thought it was a really good idea in terms of just, if they did that for the lower leagues too, a real good way of like cost effectiveness. Instead of having to travel to these 4 locations where they have the events throughout the season, if they had more like regional events,
smart,
you could do that. And then depending on if you make it out of those regional events, then you could go play like World Cup.
Yeah, I think you just need a registry, right? You just say like, hey, if 200 people register in this region, then boom. Well, like, I mean, that's maybe too much, but you'll say like, hey, if 200 people or 100 people or 50 people register, then cool, you're eligible to do a regional event. So you're just trying to go to, hey, if you register, we can have one local here, and then people will be more interested of like, oh yeah, I'll sign me up, because then they'll be, you know what I'm saying? You have to put in time, put a down payment or whatever it case may be, but it shows that like, yeah, okay, great, and I think that, I think that you're right. I think that would have create more regional support. It all's grassroots. One of the things that I don't know if you know anything about. You probably don't. Magic is going through like all hell breaking loose right now. I have to get someone on for Magic, but Magic is like the OG card game that's been around since
I know about Magic. One of my old roommates, he played it big time. And funny story. When I went to Sacramento to play NXL, the Airbnb that we stayed in, in the hallway closet, I actually found this huge fucking box of like 1,000 Magic cards. And I took them.
Oh yeah, you should have.
I gave them all to my buddy.
Fuck yeah.
He's a huge Magic. I think he goes to this place in like Upland. There's like a Magic.
Hey, tell him to join the dark side, because they're going all hell breaking loose right now. I need to talk to your buddy. But yeah, the whole market is just imploding. Like literally, the stock has like dropped almost 40%. It's crazy, and they don't know what to do. But the biggest thing,
like on the prices of cars or something,
the actual stock at the company value.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the problem is that they keep squeezing the players. Like They don't really understand what the dynamic of what a player goes through in terms of like the journey of how hard it is to collect Magic cards.
Right.
And the amount of cost, because literally people work jobs that they hate in order to make money to be able to invest in these cards, because that's the one thing that they love. Yeah. And then they made a statement saying that, well, you don't need to buy all of our products. If and it's just fucked up. It's like, dude, like these are like kind of these neckbeards like living in, you know what I mean? They're just kind of living in their home, and they're just trying to figure out how to they're just trying to figure out how to live another day. And so one of the things I feel like is really tough for people is that like you stay too focused on the hyper competitive stuff, and you lose the grassroots, the small communities that are what got those people into these pro levels. So I think if NXL really takes that sense of like, shoot, maybe we should go and focus a little bit more about getting new people in. Who cares about the major league people? They'll figure shit out, right? Yeah. Obviously, as long as we can get them as much hyper, the best views, because when you watch NFL and you see them, they got 6 different angles on this one dude doing a catch, right?
Yeah, one catch.
And just 6 different angles, and like, literally it feels like you're literally standing right there. But obviously no one's standing right there. They just zoom in and just catch the dude, and all these other angles are catching this guy, and it falls on the cameraman, and it's just watching every almost, because that's what you have to catch. You have to get those moments, because that's going to be really good for the viewer. And I think you have something really beautiful if the NXL can get the camera on the scope. If you can get that like on the scope, and you can watch them, see them do, right? Yeah. Right? And it's all about the playback, which I didn't see not one playback, and I was like, okay, they're gonna play it back though. They're gonna show me how the hell this dude got killed. Yeah. But they can't. But because the games are just so quick.
Yeah, they're just going back to back to back to back, and it has to do a lot with cost too and stuff like that. Because that's kind of the one big thing is they stream all the pro games on Go Sports, right? It's a subscription based website. You have to pay $15 a month in order to be subscribed, and you'll always see people in the comments saying like, oh, the stream's down, oh, the stream sucks, this and that, why are we paying, blah blah blah, this and that, and then people will be like, oh, I'm unsubscribing, I'm unsubscribing.
Just go on YouTube. You will kill it. The ad revenue on there will just be good enough. You go YouTube Live, Twitch, or whatever, you'll make a killing.
Yeah, but I mean, the argument too, you have to look at the other argument too. Like people are like, oh, like, unsubscribe. It's like, well, now you want the stream to get better, but now you're unsubscribing, so now they have less money to make the stream better. It's like it's a double-edged sword. But it's not a good thing in either way.
Okay, but you can literally, because the one thing that NXL is doing, they're offloading it onto Go Sports. That's the problem. They're not doing it internally. Go Sports don't give a fuck.
Well, no, Go Sports pretty much is paintball. Like, it's literally for like paintball, really.
But Gold Sports is selling like gear. They're selling they're selling paint, right? You said earlier Gold Sports is either selling paint or they're selling their brand of shirts and clothes and stuff.
No, Gold Sports is literally just a streaming service.
Okay, so then I'm confused, because then if that's the case, right? If Gold Sports is trying to start their own streaming service, is it only for paintball?
I think there's like a couple like other small stuff on there, but
because it doesn't sound like a paintball I guess I think NXL right now, the reason I think NXL is trying to actually, I get it now. NXL is they're trying to support Go Sports. I have a feeling they don't want to like let that company fail, and they feel like, oh man, they're a part of the community, we got to help them. Like that's your demise, man.
It's like a little bit of both, I think. It's tough, man. It really is tough. But as far as like Go, I think it is, because like I literally just go straight onto the Go Sports website, and it literally says official NXL paintball broadcast. It pretty much is for the NXL paintball. Like, you don't see other sports on here, at least not that I've seen.
Yeah, so see, that shows me that NXL is off. They're offloading it to someone else.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that Go Sports doesn't care. I'll take that back. But I think for more of a sense, I think, and again, for everyone out there I imagine what's going to happen is they're going to be like, who is this guy talking about our sport? They don't even know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know shit about your sport. But, bro, y'all need to step your game up. Deadass. And I'm not coming from a space of just trying to be mean. I'm coming from a space of just like, look, dude, you have some potential here. It's an insanely really fun sport. Like, I've seen some, like, I was, like, trying to comparing it with, like, airsoft, and I noticed that like airsoft is kind of like it's just kind of like, you know what I mean, military type of thing, and they try to get that, but I actually kind of like the speed and the agility and the kind of the fast pace of the paintballing world. The only thing, again, it was really hard is to follow. And if even like, again, if you know it's hard when even Go Sports, the people who are controlling the cameras they don't even know how many people are in the fucking, they don't even know. They just have literally, I've seen people walk off the field and they still have 5 members on there, and the person on there is just, they're probably trying to find the button to press like to minus people, but they don't know, like, fuck. And then by that time, when they look down the keyboard to try to minus them, they're already
changing on the
field.
It's
already like, oh shit, the game's over. And they just, and I've seen them literally just remove it entirely. There's still people on the field. I'm sorry. There's still people on the field, and they just removed all of them. Just said, fuck it, good luck. We'll figure out who it is. Yeah. And
I mean, the idea is cool. It helps. It's a good way to keep track of people. But like, yeah, it's just, there's so much chaos going on all the time that it really is hard to keep track of exactly what's going on at all, unless you are a paintballer yourself and you know what they're trying to do. It's hard to keep track because you don't know what they're doing. You all you see outside looking in, you just see for you it's just a bunch of dudes shooting at each other.
I understand the feeling, because coming from the card game world, right? When you are watching card games, you can't read the card, right? You can't see it on the actual camera. You can't see the card itself. So you see the cards that are on the table and you see the pictures of them, but looking down on them, you don't even know what cards are being played. You don't know what the hell just happened. Yeah. That sucks. That's why Yu-Gi-Oh you saw the dragon come up and you're like, oh, I know what just happened, because there's a big blue eyes white dragon sitting right there and he's about to go and he got 3,000 points and you can clearly tell what's happening, but they don't have such a thing for like a guy, two guys sitting there on a wooden table playing a card, and it feels like the same kind of concept is going on with paintballing. You have these players and so many things are happening all at once, and it's really just, again, hard to follow. That's what I'm telling you. 1v1, 2v2. If you guys, if that was, and again, if they could get that just started, people will grow into the 5v5, because I feel like you can, and it's much easier as a business to support one player, like a Venus Williams or like a Federer, like a tennis player. You can support that one player and really like invest in them, and they'll feel like, oh shoot, okay, we're making moves here. Yeah. Anyway, that's just my food for thought.
I can see what you're saying. I definitely I can picture what you're saying and stuff like that. I think it's just the reason it's never been done is just because it's never been that way. It's never been it's
a team sport.
Yeah, it's never been an individual sport. It's always been about playing as a team. And even, like I said, I mean, they still have smaller events. They're more like local stuff. It's nothing like, on the NXL. But I mean, NXL, they do have 3-man events, where it's 3v3 instead of the full 5v5. So it's probably a little bit easier to follow, and it's also more cost effective to play that. And also because you have to think, right, I didn't mention this before. We kind of just kept going. So paintball has 2 formats. There's X-ball, which is the timed format, and there's 5-man, which it's the same. It's played the same way, 5 against 5. The only difference between X-ball and 5-man, X-ball is timed. 5-man, it's points. So in 5-man, it's a race to 2 format. Basically, the first team to score 2 points wins the game, and it's way cheaper playing 5-man than it is playing X-ball. Like leaps and bounds. I think it's like I said, it's like 2,300 to play X-ball. I think it's only like 1,000 to play 5-man, and it's still D4. Like you can play D4 X-ball and D4 5-man, but it's like half the price to play 5-man because you're not playing as much, right?
Right.
If it's my team against your team, max we're gonna play 3 points before a winner is determined. Where in X-ball, if you have 12 minutes on the clock, you can play like 8 points before you win. So
sure.
The reason it's so much cheaper is because of also that reason. There's less games being played, so it takes up less time on the field.
But what do you think is fun?
I think they're both fun.
Well, come on now. What do you think is like more fun?
I like X-ball better. It's because
it's longer.
It's longer, but it allows more
chance to come back.
Yeah, exactly. 5-man is fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it shows the true level of skill that is on display.
Okay, so
you can beat me 2 points in a row and I just had 2 shitty points.
What if we do a 1-on-1 5? What if it was a 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, but just like a X-ball format? Do you think you would explain that from your perspective of like what does that feel like? Like if it's just you two and you have, I'm telling you, give you some comms and you can hear the comms. If you can hear comms, do you understand how cool that would be?
They had that at one of the events. They actually mic'd up some of the players. I don't know why they didn't do that more. I think that is one thing that, aside from the camera angles, I think that would be really cool. I don't know how they would do it. But if you could hear and listen to what the
Are you kidding me? A 3-on-3 or 2-on-2, and you get to hear them be like, all right, and you whispering to each other, and you're like, like that's some of the best moments of any movie you watch, right? Yeah. You see these guys, and they're like in these tuck corners, and they're just like trying to make moves. And he's like, yeah, man. It's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then you start, and like you don't get to have those moments because you have to shout. Ready? And it just obviously it kind of throws it off, Yeah. But the beauty of being able to have that, I mean, and again, I'm being extremely ignorant here. Okay? I'm being so ignorant. It's not even a joke because even that is not even possible for like a average game you would play
Yeah.
at like a at like just a regular spot
Yeah.
in Simi Valley or something. But I'm just saying that would be lit. That'd be lit to hear the comms.
I for sure think being able to hear what the players are saying as they're playing, not just like in the pits when they're getting ready to go on again, but actually hearing. And like I said, they did it before. They did it a couple events ago. They mic'd up like some of the players, and I think the fact that they didn't keep doing that, I don't know why. I thought I think that's like a missed opportunity to actually hear.
Gold Sports got one job. They got one job. They ain't got like 60. It's not like, NXL, you kind of have an excuse, but Gold Sports, you have one job.
Yeah.
And your one job is to make sure that you give the viewer the best experience possible, because if you do, it's over. It's GG.
Yeah.
It's like you get to really get the graphs and you get the feel of like, oh man, do I like this player?
Yeah.
And you want to see that player actually get better and grow and so on. You making the player more famous per se, right? It allows people to get attachment to them and to continue growing, which is why soccer is so huge, which is why all these other sports are so huge. It's not so much the team, because I'm shooting, hey man, I want Sacramento to win, or I want LA to win, I want San Diego to win, but it's really just like, I want this player to win, right? LeBron James, you talk about Steph Curry, and you talk about all these Serena Williams and all these other people who are in these great sports, So anyway,
I think, but like I said, like that one-on-one thing, I think that would be cool. That if they maybe not the entire season, I don't know how it would work, but maybe at and they were actually supposed to do it in Chicago when we went to Chicago, and they were actually going to do it for World Cup too. They were going to have an all-star game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so basically the best players from all the selective teams, they were going to have an all-star game. It got canceled in Chicago because of the rain, and then it unfortunately got canceled at World Cup too because of the hurricane that came.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a cool thing to do. That's something I think to do. But I think one thing that they could do, like I said, even if it's just at one event, if they held like a one-on-one event, just of like, not every.
Can you imagine some of the top players? You know how cool that would be?
Yeah.
And again, you don't have to make it an X ball. Make it like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And just see them just like go down to like 10. And you're like, fuck. Yeah. Right? And then you're just like, okay. And it's have them come back and just like see that development of just them coming back and just seeing them. I think that'd be really cool to see a full story of these two people going at it and sitting down with their coaches like, what do I do here?
I think that would be cool. Like I said, not every event, like. And you can even have it like at events where they just, have the normal tournament, the 5v5, the 20 teams and stuff like that. But then have it like maybe at like one event, for sure, I think at Cup would be cool. And then maybe at one other event, have it to where they have like.
But full mic it up, get the cams in there.
Yeah, like have it to like I think that like the whole everyone loves one-on-ones. And I think it would be cool if they take like get the 20 teams and pick like the two best players that they have. Like the two best like one-on-one guys that they have, and then have like a one-on-one tournament with all the teams.
Yeah, and then listen, I'm telling you guys, listen, put me in, coach. Okay, you go and do exactly what he just said, and put these cameras inside these inflatables. Like just put like 12 cameras inside the inflatables, right? Yeah. And you blow them up, and they're like all seeing different angles, and you have them censored. I'm just telling you, you have them censored, and once they pass the sensor, the camera just kind of sees them passing and sees, and you get to see like in there what's happening, and you cam them up, you put, but obviously, that's a problem. They have to wait on the camera and on the muzzle, excuse me. I mean, I get it, but it's a pipe dream.
I think, hey man, people like one-on-one because they did it. Actually, they had this thing that they did a while ago. They called it the Pro Tour, and it was literally just one-on-one paintball of like pro guys.
And how did that go?
It was cool. I don't know about as far as viewership. I don't know how many people watched, but
that's probably
at least inside the paintball community, there was a lot of people following it because it's cool. It's literally and they don't play on these full-size fields. It's like half-size field, and these dudes are just playing one-on-ones on each other. And then they had another version. I forgot. I
think you do full size because watching a full size.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Full size would be cool, but they also did another one that I forgot the name of it. It was sanctioned by the NXL, and they would have these pro guys come out, and they essentially had you had like instead of touching the buzzer on the other side of the field, there were 3 buzzers in the middle of the field, and depending on what buzzer you touched, determined a certain amount of points you could get. So like shooting your opponent was 1 point, and then it's like each buzzer was an extra point. So if you like touched one buzzer and then shot your guy, you got like 4 points out of it.
Oh, that's dope.
And it was like a race to like first to 21. And so it was really cool just seeing dudes play one-on-ones against each other. So I think if they could bring that and incorporate it into an actual NXL event, to where aside from the normal format that they play, have like a little one-on-one tournament.
Let me keep this full stop here. I think that the 5v5 is as a viewer is funner to watch. Yeah. I'm just saying that just to start getting cameras and mics on these people, 2v2s would be more I would prefer, because you have this team dynamic that happens. You have them whispering. 3v3s would be, I think, a perfectly ideal situation, but I rather see 5v5s. Yeah. But it's cost effective for you. Have like not so much paint that you're using as a team. You can you can obviously cam all these individuals, and that you get to follow what's happening, right? You can hear the voices in them talking. You can you can make it 5 minutes and see them, so guys don't have to rush, because it feels like you have these players and they're like running out of time, so they're just making decisions just rational, But if you give them the time to really think out a strategy, it makes it cool. So anyway, moral of the story, shout outs to NXL, because that shit was cool. I liked it. I really hope that progresses.
Yeah. And NXL is great. I mean, they put us the biggest league, but
is that is that wrong to say NXL, or is it better to say is it NXL, or is it other things as well?
No, NXL is the major league. It's the biggest league, and it's the league that holds the pro division in it. NXL is great because it's what is keeping pro paintball alive right now, and but also you get to play the other divisions. But I mean, aside from going to play, like I said, going to play in NXL is cool, right? Because you get to play against all these other teams. You get to obviously watch the pro guys play, while you're not playing yourself. But play your regional events.
Regionals, yeah.
Play your local events. If you're here, right now, I'm, here on the West Coast, we have the WCPPL, which in terms of just size, it's 100% like second to the NXL. We have, on any given event, we have because there's no pro guys, but it's D5, D4, D3, and Premier, which is basically anybody who's Division 2 or higher. And we actually have pro guys come out and play the event because the Premier is technically an open event. So it doesn't matter what your rank is, you can play. Every team, you're allowed to have like one pro guy on your team. And some pros come and play. They guest with like these other teams.
That's dope.
To play. And playing your local event is where you're going to get the return on investment. So like with the WC, right? And also an entry, right? Division 4 is only $1,000.
Right.
But if you win, you get a $4,000 prize.
Yeah, see? Yeah, look, I think you're right here. The reason I'm put so much emphasis on the viewership of things is because I think that's where people want to play, because you want to be like someone, right? If you have a kid watching basketball on the screen, like, man, I could want to be like Michael Jordan someday. Yeah. You then want to start, like, how do I get involved? And I think you're right. It starts with the grassroots. But I think if you want to get people like these young kids or other people, really, obviously you have social media, which is a big aspect to things, but like you got to get the viewership. You have to get we have people in our comments. Like when we're doing these podcasts, the first thing would pop in mind, yo, man, you need more cams. So we recognize, like, damn, you're right. Like dead ass, the angles, the views, to get the real feel and depth of people. Yeah, it's the same kind of concept overall. But yeah.
And if unfortunately, if you've been following the NXL, you would see that, like, before they just had the cameras on the corners or the sideline cam. Now we have the fly by wire cam.
Sure,
that wasn't something that they had just a few years ago.
Right,
that's still something relatively new, and it opened up a whole lot of angles,
right,
in terms of being able to see. One thing I think would be really cool, I don't know how it would work, and just because of if it's a plausible idea, I'd love to see them use drones. I think drones on the field would be cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Then you could move it around and stuff like that. You could get like really close to a player. The only thing that I've heard some people say is if it gets shot, it probably is gonna break.
No, I don't think that the shooting of things is really the issue. I think the problem is that, like, you're gonna tell where people are at. That's what I think is the biggest issue, because it is a very, like, you see during the games where, like, they don't have no clue where they're at.
Yeah.
If the drone is sitting there looking at the person, like, the drone's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Right. Then you kind of like shoot,
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. That's why I feel like you do have to have. But again, great idea.
I think it's a cool idea to have.
Just kind of do it in a circular motion. Have like 4 of them travel each other, and And
I think it would be a cool concept to introduce.
I agree.
To get new angles, right? And it's not something you have to do like use a lot, but like every now and then get like a drone shot in or something. I think it would be a cool concept. I mean, it's gonna take time. You know, the technology that they have right now in comparison to what they had before is way different. So there's always new stuff that they're hopefully gonna add in.
Sure.
In you know, as they hopefully continue to improve the streams so we can watch better. But yeah, like I said, I think, you know, like that, doing the mic'd up. If you can get a camera on like someone's gun,
sure,
they're actually playing, that would actually, because then you can actually see what they're shooting at and kind of actually really understand what we're doing on the field versus just, oh, these guys are just shooting randomly at each other.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.